Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have an interesting episode for you guys that we want to get into, so make sure you go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, we literally produced a show about 1 or 2 days ago talking about the Lakers, just about a day or two ago. And during that show, we discussed how totally disgusted Shannon Sharpe was with the Lakers situation, and really what he was reacting to was it was the news where Magic Johnson basically said that he wanted the Lakers to retain Russell Westbrook and how they need to find a way to kind of re-ingratiate themselves with him and, you know, get on good terms with him. And Shannon Sharpe basically just scoffed at that idea, and he said that, listen, I think this thing is totally absurd. And he basically said that he doesn't see how Russell Westbrook and LeBron James are going to work together, and he totally went off. So for those of you who missed some of his comments, we want to play a little bit of it here to really give this thing some context, and then we're going to come back and really get into the meat of this show here. So take a listen to some of the things that he had to say here.
Magic Johnson said the Lakers are better off keeping Russell Westbrook. Magic said he talked to the Lakers brass and that he recommended they keep the guard and focus on making sure their new head coach, yes, is willing to make it work. Shannon, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I bet you don't love this idea.
How? I just don't know how. Skip, some things you use for what they are for. I mean, I can't take a shower curtain and make it a blanket. No more than I can make a blanket a shower curtain, because that's not what it was used for. They make it seem like Frank Vogel didn't try to make it work. But when the process of trying to make something work, someone has to be amenable to that. Skip, if I take a job and the job requires me to work at night, I can't get upset when I got to go to work at night. I got to be willing to say, you know what? I signed up for the night shift. I got the graveyard shift. This is what it is. When Russ signed up, he had to be willing to accept being the third option. Russ is unwilling to accept that. It's LeBron, AD, Russ. Russ has never had to be a third option. Make it work how? What are you going to do? The way to make it work, if you want to make it with Russ, you're going to probably need to move LeBron. Put the ball in Russ' hands and say, Russ, play like you did at Washington, play like you did at OKC after KD left. Other than that, Skip, I don't see how it works. How many more years does Magic think he has of LeBron? You just wasted year 19. Are you willing to waste year 20? Because I don't see, Skip, I don't see how Russ works. He doesn't shoot the ball well enough. His athleticism is waning. And I get all the other players in the NBA coming to Russ' defense. They come to his defense because they don't have to play with him. It's easy to come to someone's defense, Skip, when you're not in that situation. I just don't see how it works. I didn't think it was going to work. I said if there was a smidging that it could work, it was because of Bron. I just don't see how it works. I just don't. Who misses the playoffs and then bring damn near basically the same team back intact? I know a lot of the guys, Skip, that were on one-year contracts, probably not going to come back. But even the Mavericks, losing like this, they're not bringing that core back.
So clearly you can hear the disgust in his voice about the situation. Subsequently, we got into a report in that show that we produced that basically said that the Lakers were unwilling to move were unwilling to give up a first-round pick in order to trade Russell Westbrook. And I believe the reason for that is this: the Lakers basically have no future. They gave away all of their young players and all of their picks in order to acquire Russell Westbrook and in order to acquire Anthony Davis, right? So they're pretty much stuck in a quandary where they have to figure out, okay, well, what do I do now, right? We have a team. We spent all of this money. We have these 3 big-name players, and they have to pay dividends at some point. And also, we also have to think about the future. And the Lakers are in a very, I can understand if the Lakers are doing very well or if they had a very good campaign last year, but that's not what happened. So I think the team is in a very tough spot. But then, for some bizarre reason, it seems as if now this team is in a situation where every decision that every decision that they're thinking about making is contingent upon somehow the well-being of Russell Westbrook. That seems to be the news we've been getting over the last few weeks. And just this morning, I stumbled upon another article here via, CBSSports.com. And now it's some more news about the Lakers head coaching job that I want to really get into, because I think all of this is really starting to get very strange. So let me get into the article here. The article starts off with the headline: Lakers interview Terry Stotts again. Working with Russell Westbrook intrigues ex-Blazers coach, per report. The article continues on. The Los Angeles Lakers have reportedly narrowed down their head coaching search to 3 candidates: Milwaukee Bucks assistant Darvin Ham and former Portland Trail Blazers coach Terry Stotts have advanced to the final rounds of interviews, according to ESPN. Golden State Warriors assistant coach Kenny Atkinson has also been named as a finalist, per The Athletic. Stotts met with the Lakers again on Tuesday. CBS Sports Bill Reiter confirms Ham and Atkinson will also be interviewed again in the near future, per Adrian Wojnarowski. Stotts says he is intrigued with working with Russell Westbrook and feels he can make him more comfortable with his role, according to Mark Medina. All 3 candidates have been hot commodities on the coaching market, as the Charlotte Hornets have also had interest in all of them as well. Later on, the article continues on. It says, Stotts hasn't coached since parting ways with the Portland Trail Blazers following the 2020-2021 season. During his time there, he helped lead the team to the Western Conference Finals and missed the playoffs just once during his 9-year tenure. Prior to that, he has been on the coaching staff and has helped bring a championship to the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. He's an offensive-oriented coach, something that could help the Lakers as a team that ranked at 2022 in the league overall offensive. And the article just basically continues on, right? I already got to the point that I wanted to get to in the article. So let me give you guys my thoughts again. I think this thing is absolutely absurd, if we're being honest. I don't understand if the problem is that people don't have enough information, people are not willing to look at the information. I don't know what it is really. I don't know what is going on with this Lakers team. You heard them talk about him being intrigued to work with Russell Westbrook. Help me understand, when was Russell Westbrook this player? Like, when did Russell Westbrook become this championship player where teams need to be making all of these concessions for? That's number one. Number two, you heard them talk about the fact that he's an offensive-minded coach, and the fact that the Lakers were the 23rd ranked, 23rd rated offensive team in the NBA. Let me give you guys some information here. And I think a lot of people need to pay attention to this. Yes, they were ranked number 22, number 23 in terms of offense. They were ranked number 22 in terms of defense. Someone is sitting here. No one, for whatever reason, I don't understand. People are talking about injuries. People are talking about Russell Westbrook. People are talking about the offense. Not enough people are talking about defense for some very strange reason. Okay. Here are the stats that you need to know, right? And what all of that let me tell you exactly what being ranked number 22 and ranked. Let me explain to you guys what that means in a traditional sense, at least using traditional stats. Because I think sometimes simple stats give the entire picture. We don't need to complicate this thing with offensive rating. Defense. Let's just get into some simple stats here. The Lakers as a team last season scored 112.1 points per game. We understand that. Everybody can understand that. Fantastic. And ultimately, the goal of basketball is to score the most points. Whoever scores the most points wins the game. So we got that. The Lakers scored 112 points per game 112.1 points per game last season. Good. However, the problem is they gave up 115.1 points per game on average. So right there, you can already see that those two figures pretty much give you a lot of insight as to why the team struggled. You can just look at those two numbers, and those two numbers can yield a lot of information from you. You can really start your search there. You can start your investigation right there. It means this, that the team, for as good as they were on offense, they could not stop teams from scoring on them. Hence, they were giving up more points than average to a point. Go look at any team with a losing record, and you go see how many points they're giving up per game versus how many points that they're scoring. Let me give you a comparison to another team, because I feel like a lot of people are wasting time on this offense thing. The Clippers, as a ball club, scored 108.4 points per game. So most people will say, oh, this team should be bad because they're only scoring 108 points per game. Here's the difference. The Clippers gave up 108.4 points per game. The Clippers finished the season with 42 wins, and the Lakers finished the season with 33 wins. So how can it be the offense? Again, I have to ask this question: how can it be the offense? One team, in the Lakers in this case, is scoring about what? Scoring about 4 more points per game than the Clippers. But the Clippers are giving up giving up about 7 less points per game than the Lakers. So it's clear to see that the defense is the issue with the Lakers can score 150 million points per night. But if they're going to be giving up 151 million points per night, they're going to lose. It's just that simple. They're going to lose. Has nothing to do with the offense. Now, some people can say, well, you don't understand, because if the offense is running smoothly, players can set the defense, and it can allow the Lakers to set their defense. And fine, let me ask you guys a question. Who on the Lakers right now, out of that starting five, with the exception of Anthony Davis, is going to be playing defense? Who? Is Russell Westbrook going to be playing defense? Has Russell Westbrook made any multiple all-defensive teams in his career? LeBron James is going to be 38 years old next season. Does LeBron look like he's going to be playing defense to you? Does he have the energy? Does he have the energy to exert on both ends of the floor? Did you not listen to Patrick Beverley talk about how hard it is to be a two-way player in basketball? And we're going to sit up here and talk about how the offense is going to be run. Okay, listen, let me give you guys my final thoughts on this situation. I think this entire thing is puzzling, that they're going to be going after a coach that isn't a defensive-minded coach. But then again, Frank Vogel was a defensive-minded coach, and that didn't work. So in my personal opinion, I think the answer is very simple. It's like everybody said, especially JJ Redick, you bring back the same roster, you can expect the same results. It is a different thing if the Lakers made it to the Western Conference Finals last season with this group, then you're running it back. In that case, you can say, oh, well, they had some success last season, so let's run it back. Same thing with the Phoenix Suns, same thing with the Los Angeles Clippers. In this case, that's not what you had. So I don't understand what this miraculous thing that's supposed to help the Lakers garner 20 more wins and make them a 50-win team next season with the same exact roster, and players are going to be 1 year older. I would love to see it, but in my personal opinion, I think this entire thing is a mess.